Have you ever looked up at the moon? That silent glowing rock we conquered half a century ago. It's supposed to be a monument to human achievement, a place we know how to reach. But lately, something is going very, very wrong up there. The moon is acting strange. Or rather, our attempts to reach it are ending in disaster. Nearly 5 decades since its last attempt, Russia aimed for the moon and missed. The lander smashed into the surface. A private Japanese company, iSpace, tries twice. Both landers are lost, one after hovering bizarrely miles above the ground until it simply ran out of fuel. An American company, Intuitive Machines, actually makes it, only for their lander to trip and fall over on its side. A multi-million-dollar robot, lying useless in the dust. The lunar graveyard. Let's be clear. We are littering the moon with wreckage. These aren't noble failures. They are high-speed, multi-million-dollar impacts that reveal a deep flaw in our modern approach. Take Russia's Luna 25. In August 2023, it was meant to be a grand return, proof that a space superpower hadn't lost its touch. But during a routine orbital maneuver, its engine just wouldn't shut off. It was commanded to fire for 84 seconds, but it kept burning for 127. That fatal overburn sent it on a collision course. It was a classic, almost old-fashioned guidance failure. A ghost of the early space race come back to haunt them. Then there's the story of iSpace. Their first lander, Hakuto R1, got within sniffing distance of the surface in 2023, but its software got confused. The altimeter misjudged a crater rim, and the lander thought it had already landed while it was still 5 kilometers up. It just hovered there, burning through its fuel until it dropped like a stone. So, they fixed the software. For their second attempt in 2025, they were ready. But this time, it was the hardware. They had to use a new untested laser rangefinder. The system was flying blind, waiting for data that came too late. It couldn't slow down in time and slammed into the moon at over 40 meters per second. They fixed one problem, only for the moon to expose another. And that brings us to the American company, Intuitive Machines. Their failures are perhaps the weirdest of all, because they keep declaring them successes. In February 2004, their Odysseus lander made the first ever private moon landing, a historic moment. Except it caught its foot on a rock, broke a leg, and tipped over. It survived, but many of its scientific instruments were pointing uselessly at the sky. A year later, their second lander did the exact same thing, tumbling into a crater and disabling its main payload, a drill meant to search for water ice. An engineering victory, maybe, but a mission failure. It's like a delivery driver who gets to your house but throws the package on the roof. The moon is fighting back. It's tempting to think our engineers have just forgotten how to do their jobs. But the truth is, the moon isn't the simple static target we remember from the grainy Apollo footage. It's an environment that actively resists being landed on. A master of deception that our modern automated systems are struggling to comprehend. It starts with the ground itself. The lunar surface, the regolith, has an average reflectivity, or albedo, of just 0.1. That's as dark as worn asphalt. Our landers rely on bouncing lasers off this surface to know how high they are. But when the ground absorbs the light instead of reflecting it, the sensors get weak, delayed signals, or nothing at all. This is likely what doomed iSpace's second mission. The lander was expecting an echo that never came. But it gets stranger. The moon's dust has a bizarre property called the opposition surge. When the sun is directly behind the lander's camera, the surface suddenly appears blindingly bright. This can confuse optical navigation systems, which are trying to match what they see to maps in their memory. Imagine trying to drive while the road ahead alternates between pitch black and glaring white. And then there's the tyranny of the light cone. That means in the final, critical moments of descent, there is no human control. No one on Earth can grab a joystick and steer the lander away from a rock. The gamble no one is talking about. This is where the story pivots from engineering to economics, and where the real, not good part comes into focus. This wave of failures isn't happening in a vacuum. At the heart of it all is a bold, high-risk gamble led by NASA, the Commercial Lunar Payload Services Program, or CLPS. NASA is intentionally paying private companies to take these risks. They're using a type of contract called firm fixed price. In the Apollo days, the government used cost-plus contracts, meaning they paid for everything, plus a profit. Today, it's the opposite. NASA agrees on one price for the delivery service. If the rocket blows up, if the lander crashes, if costs spiral out of control, that's the company's problem. This model is designed to do one thing: accelerate learning by accepting failure. NASA sees these crashes not as disasters, but as data points. They are effectively seeding an entire industry by paying for its education, and the tuition is paid in shattered spacecraft. But this creates a terrifying paradox. The space industry is no longer funded by patient government budgets. It runs on venture capital, and investors are getting nervous. They don't want to fund science projects anymore. They want to see a clear path to profitability. So when a lander tips over and fails to deliver its customer's payload, it's not just an engineering problem. It's a financial catastrophe that spooks investors and threatens the company's survival. This is the fragile house of cards our new lunar ambition is built on. A ghost in the machine. And then, amid the wreckage and the tipped-over landers, something different happened. A success. In March 2025, a new chapter in lunar exploration was written. Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost lander descended through the silence of space and came to rest on the moon's ancient surface. And it didn't trip. It didn't crash. It landed perfectly, ready to work. So, what was its secret? How did this one mission succeed where so many others failed? The answer is simple. It had eyes. Instead of relying solely on laser altimeters or radar, Blue Ghost used a system called vision-based navigation. It was powered by an AI that had been trained to see the moon like a human pilot. During its final descent, it wasn't just measuring distance. It was interpreting the landscape. It could identify dangerous craters, steep slopes, and menacing rocks in real time. It then used that visual data to autonomously select a safe, flat landing spot. It wasn't just following a pre-programmed path. It was perceiving, adapting, and deciding. It cross-referenced what its lasers were telling it with what its cameras were seeing. If the numbers didn't match the picture, it could prioritize the visual reality. This is the breakthrough. Firefly didn't build a machine that was immune to the moon's tricks. They built one smart enough to not be fooled by them. Blue Ghost proved that the solution isn't just better hardware, but smarter perception. The real weirdness. So, what is the weird thing happening on the moon? It's not a curse or some hidden alien technology. The weirdness is us. We are running a chaotic, high-stakes experiment in public. We've created a system that is designed to fail, over and over, in the hope that the survivors will build a robust, self-sustaining economy on the moon. The crashes, glitches, and failures are expected costs of this new approach. The real risk isn't the explosions, it's the financial fragility behind them. Firefly's Blue Ghost shows the model can work, but it's still just one bright success in a growing graveyard. This is not the cautious, methodical pace of Apollo. This is capitalism, in its rawest form, let loose in the vacuum of space. The lessons are being learned at a blistering pace, but they're being paid for with investor capital and public confidence. We've traded the centralized risk of a single national program for the distributed chaos of a free market. The question is no longer if we can get back to the moon. It's whether this new, brutal model will build a lasting presence, or simply burn out, leaving behind nothing but a few more craters and a lot of broken dreams. What do you think? Are these failures a necessary price for progress, or a sign that we're rushing into a new frontier without a proper plan? Let us know in the comments below. And if this story blew your mind, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the strange science and secret economies shaping our future. Until next time, stay curious.